You're killing me, Smalls!
The Sandlot wasn't just a nostalgic baseball movie about childhood summers. It was a carefully orchestrated production where real kids faced genuine dangers, studio executives battled over creative control, and a massive English Mastiff nearly stole the show from its young co-stars. Behind those sun-drenched scenes of America's pastime, 9 young actors endured sweltering Utah heat, navigated complex stunts with minimal safety protocols, and created friendships that would last decades. The Beast wasn't the only threat lurking around the diamond. Insurance companies panicked over child actors performing their own stunts, while the film's modest budget forced creative solutions that accidentally created movie magic. Today, we're stepping up to the plate with 20 weird facts about The Sandlot that reveal the chaotic reality behind this beloved coming-of-age classic. From casting disasters that nearly derailed production to the dangerous stunt that hospitalized one of the kids, we're uncovering secrets that transform how you'll watch this innocent summer tale. Plus, stick around for a bonus fact about the film's connection to one of baseball's most legendary figures that the writers accidentally stumbled upon. Time to play ball with the truth, let's dig in. The entire cast was almost completely different. Director David Mickey Evans originally envisioned The Sandlot with a cast of 9 and 10-year-olds, but casting sessions quickly revealed a harsh reality. Kids that young couldn't handle the complex dialogue and emotional demands of the script. The age requirement jumped to 12-14, completely transforming the film's dynamic from elementary school innocence to preteen complexity. Evans wanted younger boys initially, but realized during casting that this age wouldn't work for the demanding script. This wasn't a minor adjustment. It was a fundamental reimagining of the entire project. Tom Guiry, Mike Vitor, and Patrick Renna emerged from hundreds of auditions, but their selection meant The Sandlot became a story about the cusp of adolescence rather than pure childhood wonder. The casting change accidentally created the film's unique emotional depth, capturing that precise moment when kids begin understanding the weight of friendship, loyalty, and growing up. Fact number 2, the Beast was actually 3 different dogs. Hercules, the terrifying beast that haunted the kids' nightmares, was portrayed by multiple English Mastiffs working in coordinated terror. The primary dog actor was named Gunner, but the production used 2 additional Mastiffs to create the illusion of one massive, intimidating presence. Each dog specialized in different behaviors, one for running scenes, another for close-ups, and a third for the more aggressive-looking shots. The filmmakers used a combination of real dogs, a puppet, and mechanical effects to create the Beast's enormity, with Hercules and his Mastiff stand-ins being well-trained and much friendlier than their on-screen persona. Behind the cameras, these supposedly fearsome beasts were gentle giants who played with the kids between takes. The irony was delicious. The film's most terrifying character was actually the production's most beloved cast member, with all 3 Mastiffs becoming unofficial mascots who provided comfort during the challenging Utah shoot. The pool scene nearly became a legal nightmare. Squint's legendary kiss with lifeguard Wendy Peppercorn created behind-the-scenes chaos that had nothing to do with romance and everything to do with liability insurance. The pool scene required extensive safety protocols because it involved a child actor performing what was essentially a drowning stunt, followed by mouth-to-mouth resuscitation with an adult actress. Insurance companies initially refused to cover the sequence, worried about the optics and potential dangers of a 12-year-old actor pretending to drown. Multiple safety divers remained just outside the camera frame, while medical personnel stood by during every take. The fake drowning had to be choreographed with precision to avoid any actual danger while maintaining the scene's comedic timing. What appears on screen as innocent childhood mischief required military-level planning and legal reviews that consumed weeks of pre-production meetings. Mike Vitor was discovered by pure accident. Benny the Jet Rodriguez wasn't found through traditional casting calls. Mike Viter was literally discovered while standing in line at a local movie theater, spotted by a casting director who happened to be there on a casual outing. His athletic build, natural charisma, and genuine love of baseball made him perfect for the role of the Sandlot's undisputed leader. But Viter's accidental casting created unexpected complications. Unlike his co-stars who had some acting experience, Viter was a complete novice who had to learn his craft on set. Director David "Mickey" Evans spent extra time coaching Vidar through emotional scenes, while the other kids helped him understand the technical aspects of film production. This real-world dynamic, experienced actors helping a newcomer, mirrored the film's themes about mentorship and friendship. Vidar's authentic athletic ability elevated every baseball scene, bringing genuine skill to what could have been awkward fake sport sequences. The carnival scene was almost cut due to budget constraints. The 4th of July carnival sequence, where the kids encounter the beast-like ride operator, nearly disappeared from the final film when budget overruns threatened to shut down production. The elaborate set construction, period-appropriate carnival rides, and crowd of extras pushed costs beyond the studio's comfort zone. Evans fought desperately to keep the scene, arguing that it provided crucial character development and comic relief between the more intense baseball sequences. The compromise was brutal. The carnival scene could stay, but 3 other planned sequences had to be completely eliminated. This forced the production to compress story elements and rely more heavily on the kids' performances rather than elaborate set pieces. The budget crisis accidentally improved the film by forcing Evans to focus on character relationships rather than expensive spectacle, creating the intimate feel that makes The Sandlot so emotionally resonant. James Earl Jones agreed to the role in under 5 minutes. Landing Darth Vader himself for the role of Mr. Myrtle seemed impossible for a modestly budgeted kids' movie, but James Earl Jones committed to the project after a single phone call with director David "Mickey" Evans. Jones was immediately drawn to the story's themes about intergenerational friendship and the healing power of baseball. The film stars Tom Guiry, Mike Viter, Karen Allen, Dennis Leary, Marty York, and James Earl Jones. What audiences didn't know was that Jones's involvement legitimized the entire production in Hollywood's eyes. His name on the call sheet attracted better crew members, improved the film's distribution prospects, and gave the young cast access to one of cinema's most respected actors. Jones spent hours between takes teaching the kids about acting technique and film history, becoming an unofficial mentor whose influence shaped their performances. His generosity with time and wisdom transformed The Sandlot from a simple kids' movie into something approaching cinematic education. The famous "You're Killing Me, Smalls" line was almost lost. Patrick Renna's iconic delivery of "You're killing me, Smalls" nearly ended up on the cutting room floor due to multiple technical problems during filming. The scene required numerous takes because of sound issues, camera malfunctions, and timing problems with the other actors' reactions. By the time they achieved a technically perfect take, Renna's delivery had become mechanical and lifeless. Evans made the risky decision to use an earlier take with slight technical imperfections because Renna's natural exasperation felt more authentic. The line that became The Sandlot's most quoted moment was actually a happy accident. Renna's genuine frustration with the filming process leaked into his performance, creating the perfect blend of annoyance and affection that made the line legendary. Sometimes the best acting happens when actors stop trying to act and just react honestly to their circumstances. The Utah heat created real medical emergencies. Filming during Utah's brutal summer heat created dangerous conditions that sent multiple cast and crew members to local hospitals. Temperatures regularly exceeded 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the period-appropriate wool uniforms trapped heat like furnaces. Several kids suffered heat exhaustion, while crew members collapsed during the longer outdoor sequences. The production had to implement mandatory water breaks every 30 minutes and hire additional medical personnel to monitor the cast's condition. Shooting schedules were completely restructured around the heat, with outdoor scenes filmed during early morning and late afternoon hours. The sweltering conditions accidentally enhance the performances. The kids' genuine discomfort and exhaustion translated into authentic summer languor that no acting technique could have replicated. The heat that threatened the production ultimately improved it, creating the genuine feeling of lazy, sweat-soaked summer days that defines the film's atmosphere. The treehouse scene required professional stunt coordination. What appears to be innocent kids climbing a simple treehouse actually required professional stunt coordinators and safety equipment that was carefully hidden from camera view. The scene where Benny climbs to retrieve the Babe Ruth ball involved a 20-foot drop that insurance companies deemed too dangerous for child actors without extensive safety measures. Hidden safety harnesses, carefully positioned crash mats, and multiple camera angles disguised the complex choreography required to keep the kids safe. Mike Viter performed some of his own climbing stunts, but the more dangerous sequences used a professional stunt double whose face was carefully obscured. The treehouse itself was reinforced with steel supports that were painted to look like natural wood. What seems like casual childhood adventure was actually precision stunt work that took 3 days to film safely. The invisible safety measures preserved the scene's innocent energy while protecting the young cast from genuine danger. Chauncey Lepardi held the entire production hostage. Squint's actor Chauncey Lepardi discovered early in production that he possessed unusual leverage over his fellow cast members and used it to negotiate better working conditions for everyone. The actor who played Squints, Chauncey Lepardi, reportedly demanded something very specific in exchange for the kids behaving well on set. Lepardi realized that the other kids looked up to him and would follow his lead in terms of behavior and cooperation. Rather than abuse this power, he used it to advocate collectively for longer lunch breaks, more comfortable trailers, and additional recreational activities during downtime. His hostage negotiation with the production team was actually wholesome leadership that improved working conditions for the entire cast. Go ahead and like and subscribe because trust me, the production chaos we're about to uncover makes Squint's pool kiss look like amateur hour compared to the real drama happening behind the cameras. The Babe Ruth ball was actually worthless. The priceless Babe Ruth autographed baseball that drives the entire plot was a complete fake created by the prop department for less than $5. Multiple identical priceless baseballs were manufactured because the script required the ball to be hit, thrown, chewed by a dog, and handled extensively throughout filming. The prop department created dozens of aging techniques to make new baseballs appear authentically vintage, including coffee staining, strategic scuffing, and careful weathering that made the balls look decades old. Real Babe Ruth signed baseballs were selling for thousands of dollars in 1993, making authentic props financially impossible for the production's modest budget. The irony was perfect. A fake ball representing impossible value drove a story about the real value of friendship and childhood memories. The worthless prop became priceless through its role in creating cinematic magic that has entertained audiences for over 3 decades. The Sandlot set was built on actual Little League fields. The iconic Sandlot wasn't a constructed movie set, but rather a carefully selected and modified real baseball diamond in Salt Lake City, Utah. The production team scouted dozens of baseball fields before finding one with the perfect combination of natural beauty, practical filming access, and nostalgic atmosphere. The movie is set in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, CA, and the filming locations were in Midvale, Salt Lake City, and Ogden, Utah. The chosen field required extensive modifications to achieve the right 1960s look, including removing modern light poles, updating the backstop design, and carefully landscaping the surrounding areas. Local Little League teams had to be relocated during filming, but the production company compensated by improving the field's drainage and infield surfaces. The real field gave the movie an authentic feel that constructed sets couldn't have provided, grounding the fantasy elements in genuine baseball tradition. The pickle scene nearly injured multiple kids. The famous pickle sequence where Benny gets caught between bases required extensive choreography to prevent the young actors from colliding at full speed. The scene's apparent chaos was actually carefully planned chaos, with precise timing and predetermined running patterns that kept everyone safe while maintaining the appearance of spontaneous baseball action. Multiple camera angles captured the action simultaneously because resetting the complex sequence was time-consuming and exhausting for the kids. The scene required dozens of takes to achieve the perfect combination of comedy and athleticism, with each kid memorizing specific running routes and timing cues. Safety coordinators positioned themselves just outside camera range, ready to intervene if the choreographed chaos became actual chaos. The pickle scene's energy comes from real kids running at real speed, but every movement was as carefully planned as a professional dance number. Dennis Leary's character was almost completely different. Scott's stepfather, Bill, was originally written as a much harsher, less sympathetic character who never truly accepted his new stepson. Dennis Leary's natural warmth and comedy background convinced director David Mickey Evans to rewrite the character as someone struggling with parenthood rather than rejecting it entirely. The script changes were made during filming, with Leary improvising several key moments that revealed Bill's genuine care for Scott beneath his frustrated exterior. The transformation from antagonist to flawed but loving parent changed the entire emotional arc of Scott's story, making his journey about finding belonging rather than escaping rejection. Leary's ability to show vulnerability beneath tough guy exterior added complexity that elevated the film above simple childhood nostalgia. The character rewrites created one of the film's most authentic relationships, showing how step families navigate the awkward process of becoming real families. The pool's lifeguard was a professional actress. Wendy Peppercorn, the object of Squint's obsession, was portrayed by Marley Shelton, a professional actress who would go on to star in major Hollywood productions. Her casting was controversial because some producers wanted to use a real lifeguard for authenticity, while others worried about the potential complications of mixing professional and amateur performers. Shelton brought genuine acting technique to what could have been a throwaway role, creating a character who felt like a real person rather than just a fantasy object. Her professional experience helped guide the younger actors through the emotionally complex pool sequence, while her natural chemistry with the kids made their interactions feel authentic rather than forced. The decision to cast a professional actress in a supporting role elevated the entire production's quality, demonstrating that even small roles deserved serious attention in creating the film's overall magic. The 4th of July fireworks were real and dangerous. The spectacular fireworks displayed during the carnival sequence used actual pyrotechnics that created genuine safety hazards for cast and crew. The production couldn't afford professional fireworks effects, so they coordinated with local authorities to film during an actual 4th of July celebration in Salt Lake City. The challenge was capturing intimate character moments amid real explosive celebrations happening all around them. Sound equipment had to be protected from debris, while cameras required special filters to handle the bright flashes and smoke. Several takes were ruined by unexpected firework trajectories that created safety hazards or visual distractions. The real fireworks gave the scene authentic energy and visual spectacle, but they also created unpredictable conditions that tested everyone's professionalism. The combination of real pyrotechnics and scripted performances created a unique energy that computer-generated effects couldn't have replicated. The chewing tobacco scene used actual tobacco substitutes. The famous chewing tobacco sequence that leaves the entire team nauseated was filmed using various safe substitutes, but the kids' reactions were enhanced by genuinely unpleasant taste experiences. The prop department experimented with different combinations of safe ingredients that would create authentic-looking tobacco while tasting terrible enough to generate realistic disgust. Multiple takes were required because some kids were better at controlling their gag reflexes than others, creating continuity problems when reactions didn't match between shots. The scene's effectiveness comes from genuine physical discomfort rather than pure acting, as the kids really were experiencing unpleasant tastes that made their nausea reactions authentic. Behind-the-scenes footage shows the kids genuinely struggling to get through their lines between waves of disgust, proving that sometimes the best performances come from real physical reactions rather than manufactured emotions. The carnival ride operator was a local character actor. The menacing carnival worker who warns the kids about the beast was played by a local Salt Lake City character actor who specialized in villainous roles in regional theater productions. His casting was a happy accident. The production needed someone immediately when their original actor canceled at the last minute. The local actor's natural understanding of theatrical menace and his comfort with improvisation created a more memorable character than the originally planned performance. His genuine familiarity with old-fashioned carnival culture, gained through years of local theater work, brought authenticity to the role that a Hollywood actor might not have possessed. The emergency casting decision accidentally improved the film by finding someone whose natural instincts perfectly matched the character's requirements. Sometimes the best performances come from actors who understand their roles instinctively rather than intellectually. The film's score was recorded with a full orchestra. Despite the modest budget, composer David Newman insisted on recording the film's score with a full orchestra rather than using synthesized music or smaller ensembles. The decision was expensive and logistically challenging, but Newman argued that the story's nostalgic themes deserve the emotional richness that only live orchestral music could provide. The recording sessions took place in a single intensive weekend, with Newman conducting musicians through marathon sessions to capture the perfect blend of childhood wonder and nostalgic melancholy. The orchestral score gives The Sandlot an emotional weight that elevates it above typical children's entertainment, creating musical moments that resonate with adult audiences while maintaining the energy that keeps kids engaged. The investment in live orchestral music was one of the production's wisest financial decisions, creating a timeless musical foundation that has helped the film endure for decades. The final narration was recorded years after filming. The adult Scott's nostalgic narration that bookends the film was actually recorded during post-production, nearly 2 years after principal photography wrapped. Director David Mickey Evans realized during editing that the film needed a stronger narrative framework to tie together its episodic structure and provide emotional closure. The narration sessions required extensive collaboration between Evans and the voice actor to capture the right tone of adult nostalgia looking back on childhood experiences. Multiple versions were recorded and tested with preview audiences before finding the perfect balance of sentimentality and authenticity. The delayed recording actually improved the narration's quality because Evans had a complete understanding of the film's final form and could craft words that perfectly complemented the visual storytelling. The narration that seems so integral to the film's identity was actually one of the last elements added, proving that great filmmaking sometimes requires ongoing creative evolution throughout the entire production process. Bonus fact: the real Beast incident that inspired the story. Director David Mickey Evans based the Beast storyline on a genuine childhood experience involving a massive dog that terrorized his neighborhood baseball games. The real dog belonged to an elderly man who, like Mr. Myrtle, had been unfairly demonized by local kids who never bothered to actually meet him. Evans discovered years later that the terrifying neighbor was actually a retired professional baseball player who had played in the Negro Leagues during the 1940s and 1950s. The man's basement was filled with authentic baseball memorabilia and stories that would have fascinated the kids if they had overcome their fear. This real-world connection to professional baseball history wasn't planned. It was discovered accidentally when Evans researched his childhood neighborhood while writing the script. The coincidence convinced him that some stories are meant to be told, bridging the gap between childhood imagination and adult understanding in ways that feel almost magical. 3 decades after 9 kids stepped onto that dusty Utah diamond, the Sandlot continues to capture the infinite possibilities of summer friendship. What began as David Mickey Evans' personal nostalgia project evolved into a production that mirrored its own themes, real kids forming genuine bonds while facing challenges that tested their courage, loyalty, and growth. The film's enduring magic comes from the authentic relationships forged both on-screen and behind the cameras. Those weren't just actors pretending to be friends. They were kids experiencing real friendship under extraordinary circumstances, creating performances that resonate because they're rooted in genuine emotion and shared experience. The Sandlot works because it understands that the best childhood memories are made when kids face their fears together and discover that the things that seem most terrifying are often the most rewarding. If you enjoyed stepping into the batter's box with these behind-the-scenes secrets, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite childhood classics. And remember, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. You're killing me if you don't hit subscribe.